like Big Red one time, my daughter got loose from us at the vet. We were going to the vet. We took him to the vet, got out of the car. We lost track of her, man. And there was a street in front of the vet, a lot of traffic. She started walking out toward the street, and Big Red went over and grabbed her by her diaper and pulled her back in.
Yeah.
So he had that conscious, hey, that, she's not supposed to be going there. She could have got hit by a car.
Right.
By the time we look, hey, where's she at? Like that, he's bringing her back already by her diaper, just pulling her back. And you see videos on the internet of dogs doing that, protecting children. And like that.
Welcome to NWA Cane Corsos Podcast, where we talk all things dogs.
Now this is my remedy, let the seas sway with me, we're getting my energy, let the seas sway with me, my remedy, let the seas sway with me, getting my energy, let the seas sway with me. I would try to hold on, treading water in this big storm now. Try to swim away, crash just like a tidal wave. I go.
I'm the true champion, and they make me the underdog. I'm gonna show them all they're wrong because I'm the champion. I'm the real champion. There'll never be one like me.
Remedy, let the seas sway with me. We're getting my energy, let the seas.
What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to the show, the NWA Cane Corsos Podcast. We talk absolutely everything dog with men and women from across the globe. I am your host, Joe, and today we got a good friend, an old friend that's been around the bend with me for a few years now. Brother Schoolboy, what's happening?
Glad to be here. Thanks for having me on again.
Yes, sir. What's
Welcome, everybody.
Yes, sir. What's been good in Schoolboy's world? How you get that black eye? Somebody jumped on you?
Yeah, man, my grandson beat me up, and he also beat his grandma up.
Oh,
Yeah, he's a year and a half old, and he headbutted me, and then Angie had her tooth pulled, and she went to kiss him, and he punched her right in the jaw and made it bleed and stuff. So a little year and a half old baby beat the crap out of both of her.
that's that boxer. That's that boxing in your lines. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's my fault. Yeah, it's my fault because from when they're little, I start teaching them how to punch and stuff. So
Right.
he learned real well. But except he punches and he headbutts too.
Oh, wow. Yeah, crazy. Well, man,
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you back. As always, they refer to me as the biggest student in the game, and you an old legend in pit bulls and carry a lot of knowledge. I know you done wrote a lot. You got a lot of books too. That collection getting bigger, Schoolboy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Getting bigger. Yeah, actually, we finished our 5th book, right? And that's out there. It's a picture book, historical picture book.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also finished another one that I'm not going to release till August.
Okay.
And that one's up. And then we're working on another one. So all told, I got 5 books out there now, 1 on the deck, and that'll be released in August. So I got 6 books and working on a 7th one. I'm gonna just keep doing them till I can't do them no more.
Right.
And of course,
man.
my daughter's food baby, she helped me,
Right. Yeah, and Schoolboy, they really, really nice books, man. I mean, like, I'm talking about Schoolboy putting them out high quality. You know what I mean? I mean, and this is a really good book.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me show a little.
That was important to me.
Yeah, it was a really good book. Talking about a lot about breeding and everything. Man, in today's digital era, you're one of the guys we'll say an old timer in the breed. One thing about the pit bull community, I don't know what they knew something was special about the internet. A lot of guys that had the knowledge come on like you and share the knowledge. It's kind of different for a lot of other breeds now. But in this digital age, do you still see lacking of dog knowledge, especially when it comes to the APBT? I hear a lot of storytelling. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if a lot of those guys there, or is it just stories just been handed down. How does that work on the digital age?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first, I was surprised that people in the pit bull world give information because they didn't used to.
Right.
But what surprised me is other breeds, how even in today's world, they don't give information out. They still got that mentality where they don't want to share stuff. Right.
Yeah.
I don't get it, because they're what they call secrets. Somebody knows already, and more than a few people know it. It may be secretive to them, and the people that they're around, or even worldwide, don't have that information yet. But overall, there's a lot of people with the same information.
Right.
And for me, sharing it, I always look at it as a competition side, because that's why I get involved with the pit bull in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true that a lot of trainers, a lot of conditioners, whatever, they don't share their information. That makes sense. Me, I had no problem sharing it, because in my mind, it's still me and it's still my dog. And I can tell you everything I do. That don't mean you're going to beat me. That don't mean you know more than me. That doesn't mean your dog is better than mine. So all that, I consider myself above all that in that I don't sweat what someone else is doing. I don't care, in that respect. I don't care what they do. I don't care how much knowledge they have. I'm confident in what I know, and I'm always learning so I can improve, even if it's incrementally. So the sharing of the knowledge on the internet, if you're a solid dog man and you share, do that. But a lot of them, they're just storytellers. They hear something, they read something, they talk to somebody, and then they put it out there as if they're experienced with it, or they have that knowledge, and they don't. And it doesn't take much for someone to figure out who knows what and who don't.
Yeah. Schoolboy, I know you said this time and time again. You said I could talk to somebody 5 minutes. That's all it takes before.
Yeah.
And I picked it up too. I picked it up. I like, some people come to me and they start saying, I'm like, you know what I mean? But so with that, man, I want to pick your brain on something. First off, I've never asked you this question. And I done asked you a lot of questions down through the years. I'm the most questions asking person you can hear from me. But I never really got your thoughts on dog training. What do you think of dog trainers when it comes to the pit bulls? Have there ever been legendary? We know it's been conditioners, but has it ever been people that in the APBT that's been known as legendary just trainers, period?
Well, specifically towards APBT, I can't think of any, but there are some that are expert with APBT and other breeds of dogs, like what's her name? Larry, Leri. I forget her last name. And then my friend Karen.
Larry Hansen.
What's that?
Larry Hansen.
There you go. Larry Hansen. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know her.
She's expert in my opinion. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. She's expert in my opinion. And so is Karen, my friend Karen. I think she's from Texas. Forgive me, you guys, if you're watching this and I don't remember everything. It's been a long time, but just good people that know their stuff. Mm-hmm. And Karen knows pit bulls. She knows staffs. She knows other breeds of dogs. For me, she's an expert trainer. And then she has a friend that helps her too. Forgive me for forgetting her name. But, and I knew actually a dog trainer, and he trained pit bulls too way back in the day. I took him one of my dogs. Mm-hmm. And that person ended up being the chief of police and then the mayor of the city next to our town. So he was familiar with pit bulls. But I think, being a dog trainer, if you're a good one, if you're a solid one, I mean, that's a special trait or special thing that only certain people can do. And it's one thing to be specific to a breed, but it's another thing to be able to train different breeds of dogs. I think that's the hardest part.
Right.
But no, I admire them. I have a lot of respect for them. But again, you have guys that say I'm a dog trainer. I do that, and they ain't. I'm not a dog trainer, but I know what a dog trainer is.
Right.
And when I see them do their work, I can tell. You know, I'll give you an example. I used to work for a burglar and fire alarm company, and on some of the accounts, we go to the yards, and they would have trained dogs inside the yard running loose, right, to deter theft and burglaries and all that, right? And we wore a specific uniform. It kind of looked like the sheriff's uniform. So the way these dogs were trained is they wouldn't attack us when we went to the yard. So it's a little bit of lacking of training there, because anybody could wear a suit like that and go into the yard. And these dogs were expertly trained for plainclothes people. But if you had a uniform on like a cop, you could get by them. We used to open the gate and they'd get in our pickup, you know, in our vehicles and sit there, and then we'd go do our thing. We'd have to call the trainers, hey, come and get your dogs. They're not attacking nobody. They get there, they'd be all surprised. You know, they're not supposed to do that. Well, you need to train them a little bit different. Now, me personally, I wouldn't know how do you train them? How would you train them to be specific, where they have to know who, you know, which uniform or what, you know,
right.
Because like I said, anybody, if they had that kind of knowledge, anybody could go there with a suit and burglarize a place, and dogs would go along with it and let them do it.
Gotcha. So
the ones that are good at it, you know, I admire them.
Right. You mentioned that, Schoolboy. I'm gonna warn you right now. We're finna go around a merry-go-round tonight because I got. So it's been a while. So I got. I as you talking, I'm thinking of stuff. So back in the day, 80s, 90s, and things like that, there were guard dogs. People would hire at junkyards, companies to put dogs there for stop down thefts. That was before all the cameras and all that. That was a way to do things. Were any of those dogs ever pit bulls?
Not that I recall specifically, no.
Okay.
No, I don't think that the temperament at that time, because there weren't a lot of trainers involved with pit bull, if at all.
Right.
Like back in the 80s, at a dog show, there was his name was Winston. It was the first Chitzen trained pit bull in the United States. And the lady that owned him, she had him there, and he did some performances and stuff, but he was real uneasy. You know, he wasn't like confident. He was not jittery, but you could tell, man, if someone made the wrong move or did, you know, this dog would go off, you know.
Right.
And they have to be, for that kind of work, they have to be stable in all kinds of different environments. And he wasn't that stable. But as far as pit bulls like that, no. And the thing with, you know, I think people got away from it. One of the reasons they got away from it was people breaking into yards or whatever like that. Some of these dogs will kill people. There was no filter on them. And I think because of lawsuits and because of, you know, having that on your conscience, you know, with pit bulls, in my experience, they protect to the threat level of the threat.
Right.
So they're not just going to go outright and kill somebody.
Right.
If you push, they're going to push.
Right.
If you grab, they're going to get in between the person and they might grab your hand. Right.
Right.
If you go too far and become violent, they're going to get violent. They'll attack you and they have a potential to kill you.
Right.
But most pit bulls are very smart. And I'm not saying all of them are like that. But the ones I've been around and the ones we had, without question, almost every single one of them would protect to the level of threat. And it doesn't only mean an attack from someone. It could mean, like Big Red one time, my daughter got loose from us at the vet. We were going to the vet. We took him to the vet, got out of the car. We lost track of her, man. And there was a street in front of the vet, you know, a lot of traffic. She started walking out toward the street, and Big Red went over and grabbed her by her diaper and pulled her back in.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So he had that conscious, hey, that, you know, she's not supposed to be going there. She could have got hit by a car.
Right.
By the time we look, hey, where's she at? Like that, he's bringing her back already by her diaper, you know, just pulling her back. And you see videos on the internet of dogs doing that, protecting
Yeah.
children and
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
It's more prevalent now. But back in the day, pit bulls as guard dogs, no. In someone's yard, yeah, they would put the man eater out front or out back.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I've seen that. But
Even
that can be dangerous, man. You know.
yeah, be hard to get off your ass. Even with they say a man biter was undesirable, but I hear there was plenty of man biters in pit bulls sometimes. Am I wrong?
Yep.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
No, you're right. A lot of them. A lot of them. And you know, I've mentioned it before, and I've given specific breeds that have a potential for that. You know, like bully son dogs and alligator dogs and jocko dogs and you know, even some bolio dogs, right? But that any breed of dog, any family of dogs, any bloodline has a potential for that.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the first place, the canines are predators.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they look at children as prey.
Yes, they do. Yeah.
And what gets them worked up is the high pitched voice, the yelling, screaming like that.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll, you know, it bothers the dog, or they look at it as prey and they'll attack children. Mm-hmm. Some dogs, for whatever reason, it could be territorial, it could be food based, it could be, maybe they're close to your wife and not you, you know, so they're jealous, you know, and they'll protect the wife and they'll try and bite you and this and that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just, you have to be real familiar with dogs and the behaviors and how to see a potential for it before it even happens. And that's the main thing that I learned from being around and having man biters, was to react before they take action, or as they're taking action, and snatch them up or catch them and control them like that before they even bite someone or me.
Right. Checking their behavior.
And yeah, it's real subtle sometimes. Sometimes they'll be sitting next to you and they'll just go like this. They're going to bite you. That's it. Just a quick turn and a glance up at you. Mm. They're going after you.
Wow. Mm.
Half a second later, they're going to grab you. Mm. So I learned that, and I'd snatch them up before. They're trying to bite me, and nope. Mm. And if you can't physically control a dog, you shouldn't have it. I don't care if it's a pit bull, a boer bull, a mastiff, whatever.
Yeah.
That's how strong you have to be, or you have to know whether you're choking them out, whether I don't know, however they do it. Because sometimes the command that they've been taught, they don't listen to them. Depends on the situation. But a well-rounded, confident, controlled dog, they can go their whole life and never have an issue.
Right.
And they know who to protect, when to protect, how to protect. They never go too far. That's all part of the breeding. Just like we breed for gameness or bite or anything like that. All that temperament, all that behavior, all that attack training or protection training or whatever training, hunting, whatever it is, that comes from within the dog, within the family of dogs. So those are the ones that I would breed. That especially with protection dogs, temperament would be first with me.
Right. Okay, man, you already knocked out my question I was going to get into, and that was going to be on the character. But I want to shift to something else right quick. You see, I've been covering a lot of topics. The audience been on a journey with me, and there is an old police dog called the KNPV lines. And what we discovered is the KNPV lines, some of them were mixed in with bulldogs, with the Malinois and stuff like that. Yeah, and the police was using them. And today we got bull herders. That's the same thing. That concept come from the police. Has been going on over 100 years. They've been breeding them like that, Schoolboy. So, what are your thoughts on I know we talked about that, you know, how the bully breeds use the pit bull and things like that, but the working breeds now, you're seeing a lot of use of it. Do you think it helps the breed itself, or do you think it's a great thing that they enhancing their breeds, the other breeds, by infusing the pit bull?
Yeah. Well, I look at it like this. Anytime you're mixing breeds up, what's the purpose? What's the reason for it?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And, there's money involved, there's time, there's food, all that stuff is involved. And sometimes people are reluctant to cull dogs because of the cost or because of the relationship they have with the dog or any number of reasons. When you're mixing dogs, whether they use a pit bull and you said police dog, that's an old term. That's what they were called back in the day, police dogs, the German Shepherds. They weren't called German Shepherds just generally like that. If you ask them what breed is that, it's a German Shepherd. If you ask what is that, that's a police dog.
Right.
So that's an old term. They've been being bred for a long time, and those have changed somewhat over the years in a lot of instances. They're not the stable, controlled individuals that they used to be. So anytime you're mixing breeds, you have to have, like, what's the reason you're doing it? What do you expect when you make this breeding? What do you expect to get out of it?
Right.
If you get it, then you move forward. If you don't, you should stop it right there. And that's why I say in those types of breeds, the temperament and behavior is foremost, because they have to be stable first. And that I'm that way with pit bulls too. Whether I'm using them what I was using for in the past or whatever, I still wanted them to have a stable temperament. No freakish attitudes, no introverted bullshit, no shy, timid, overly like that. No aggressive, no, just any negative trait about them. I tried to call all that out of my program because, that's the mark of a breeder. Those dogs are representative of you. We talked about that before. So that's what I would look at. I don't mind it, people using pit bulls, because they can enhance a breed, but you have to know what you're dealing with. And then it depends on which pit bull you're using and where you got them from. When you go breed to any dog outside your yard, what matters most is who has them and what do they do with them.
Right.
Why do they have those dogs?
Right.
If you're looking to make money, when you get into it, that's the wrong thing to do. Right. But over time, you can be successful and make some money. Because anytime you cut a dog loose or you breed your stud outside your yard, you should be proud that somebody wants it. So it should be the best representative of your family of dogs that you have. And over time, you're going to have a track record. Is it good or is it bad?
Right.
That always mattered to me. Your reputation, the quality of animals you put out.
Well, you have a podcast of your own, and you interview people as well. And a lot of the episodes be next level. And I know everybody I was talking to, I like when you interview such and such. I like when you interview such and such.
Yeah.
But my favorite is when you interview Hunter Man. When you interview Hunter Man, y'all be going into some deep stuff on. I'm like, God, dog, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes I got to go back and listen.
He's very technical.
Very.
Yeah.
He's
very technical and kind of scientific, and he tries to break everything down so that people can understand what he's talking about, Right. I mean, he takes everything into consideration, even the weather, the weather, the feed, the moisture, the temperature, the day, all that.
Yeah. I might have to do one with him because I want him to expound on some of that stuff. But you guys, I see you talked about supplements.
There you go.
How important were supplements? What were you doing? What were you trying to give the dog? Why and for what reasons?
Yeah. Well, the supplements I gave were just they were the same things that were in the feed. But because I used powder or liquid form, all that meant was that it's going to be absorbed into the body more rapidly. So the supplement, the dog's going to absorb them first, and then later on during the day, he's going to absorb the nutrients from the from the food. So in my mind, I got the whole day covered. I got the whole workout covered, right? He's got the stuff right now within 15, 20 minutes, and he's got it over the long haul 2-3 hours later, and then, into the next day before we begin our next workout. So I'm giving protein, I'm giving fat, I'm giving carbs, I'm giving electrolytes, I'm giving vitamins, minerals, trace elements, like that. Some people give, there's other things you can give, like B15, which helps them breathe better, or not adrenaline. I forgot what it's called, but just things to enhance their performance, right? But that was my idea, giving them the supplements. It's nothing new. I'm not introducing anything different, so there's not going to be any negative, results from it. It's just like the feed. I fed a certain amount of certain type of kibble, so I gave them the food that was in the kibble already. So if I'm feeding a chicken-based kibble, I'm going to feed them chicken. If I'm feeding a beef-based kibble, I'm going to feed them beef. And then, if the kibble has rice or wheat or whatever carbs, sweet potato and like that's what I would give in the feed too. I'm just giving them more of what they're already eating.
Right.
So basically, depending on the size of your dog, for a keep, I would say from a little dog to a big dog, anywhere between 1,500 and 2,000 calories. Okay. Which, if you're looking at meat, anywhere from half a pound to a pound of meat.
Okay. Yeah. So let me
you just adjust accordingly.
Right. So back in the day, growing up, a lot of our dogs, they ate scraps. We wasn't into the diet thing. In general, I'm just talking about families. I know you were probably you were more on it for the diet, but you said fat, different things. Being that this breed been around a long time and historically what it was used for, when you got something like those wars, World War II, the dog had been around. What were people feeding then? Was it just anything? Was it mush, special recipes or something that works for Pitbull?
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell them deep secrets.
Yeah. There, how you said, yeah, you guys fed scrap. Well, with our cow dog, and our German shepherds, that's all we fed. We never bought dog food, kibble. And back in the day, that's what people fed, because now where you see people, I got this secret recipe, I got this recipe. Well, what is it? Well, I not only give them beef and chicken and fish and, what's that? The fish oil and all this stuff, but I give them, brown rice, and I give them sweet potato, and I give them watermelon, I give them berries. That's the same shit that they used to feed back in the day. Now it's specialized. Now it's exotic,
Right.
But the dogs ate what we ate. So if we were eating pork, beef, chicken, whatever, we ate a lot of meat in our family. I was raised on beef.
Right.
So that's what the dogs got, right? And their coats were shiny, and they were healthy, and they could run all day and work cattle all day. So it's not so it's specialized now, but people in the past knew, if you're going to have a dog that works, you got to feed them good, and you got to feed them a lot, and they need to rest. So at night they lay up, and that's it. They rest.
You made
it wasn't so much they had a regimen.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. You made
it's just that they knew that the food requirement goes along with the work they were doing.
Okay. So you made a very good point, and I was thinking in my head, they probably ate better back then than they do now, because even in the times like the Great Depression and different things like that, they still had bread, cheeses, goat milk. They had eggs, like you said, the meat and everything. So they were still eating. They still had to be eating pretty real nice. Probably better back then.
My grandparents and my parents went through the Depression, right? And my mom used to say all the time, we didn't know we were poor because we had all kinds of food. They had cattle, they had goats, they had pigs, they had chickens, they had eggs. So they made their own cheese, and they grew their own vegetables in the garden like that. So they never went hungry. They just didn't have any money, right? But they had enough where instead of money, you just traded goods. So I'll give you a dozen chicken, you give me a bottle of honey. Yeah. You got, I got a bunch of vegetables, you give me a pound of sugar, like that, Right. And they went through the war where they had a card where, you could go to the store and you could, it was what do they call it? You could only get so much, right? So on Thursday you buy, you can get a loaf of bread. On Friday you can get rations. They were rations. But that was just extra for our parents to have, So if you look at it that way, and you have dog, because my dad was dirt poor, so any animals they had were for a purpose, even if it was a dog or a cat. If you have a cat, you don't feed the cat. The cat has to catch its own mice and gophers and all that stuff. So they keep the yard clean. If you had a dog, the dog was either a protector, or he ran cattle, he worked sheep, or whatever it was you had, or he was just a companion for the kid, but they served a purpose. So with that in mind, anything you had, any animal, and then when you have a livestock, it's for food. The chickens are for eating and laying eggs, and you have pigs and goats and rabbits and whatever, and then you go out in the country and you eat all kinds of stuff. You eat frogs and you tear up greens. And, there's a thing my dad used to get. It was just on the side of the road. In Spanish, they're called verdolagas. And he would make like a stir fry with it, kind of like that. So food is out there. It's just people didn't have a lot of money. But you're right. I think people and animals were fed better. Even though the breeding techniques and the methods have improved, and the information on nutrition and knowledge has improved. Back then, it was survival, trial and error, and whatever worked. And I've said this before. Dogs in the past, they didn't have allergies, or they didn't have like I've heard dogs allergic to chicken and allergic to wheat and
every damn thing. Yeah.
For me, that just means that it's something they're putting in them. It's the way they process, or the additives they give, or whatever,
Right.
And it just is different.
You know what, Schoolboy? As you was talking, I was thinking, when you were saying, like, they were eating good back then, eating better, eating more natural foods and different things, eggs and different things. They had their butters and all that. Man, it's a lot of people that's moving back to that. You know what I mean? I know in my area, I see people ditching buying houses, not putting money into houses. They're homeschooling their kids from Sprinter vans, and they all live in these little mobile trailer things now. And they like, no, I'm not gonna get into that rat race stuff. And are people just buying land and moving across out the city and stuff like that? A lot of people. Hey, Schoolboy, I have a lot of people from California that's my neighbors. They moving out of that real big city, high expensive stress. You know what I mean?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
well, if you notice, a lot of the violence that you see on TV and everywhere, it's in the big cities, and that's because they're packed tight. Everybody's closer together. You don't see a lot of that in the suburbs or out in the country. Like where I live, they have all that too, but it's very sparingly,
Right.
And there's more open spaces. There's more room, And me, I've always, I cook a lot. So I make my own enchilada sauce. I make my own chorizo. I make my own pickled jalapenos and carrots and onions, and I make my own salsa. And all this stuff. So we've always done that, you know. I can all kinds of stuff.
Oh, okay.
And a lot of people are doing that because they realize that time, that peace of mind, you can't get it back if you lose it. Well, once you're too old, you can't repeat it. So they're realizing if I make enough money to survive and I can move, get a piece of property and just live modestly and have my own garden, have my own animals, it becomes cheaper. And like I said, we used to barter stuff. So they can still do that, you know, and people still do that around here, you know. And then like here, the farmers, when they're done with the harvest, a lot of them, you can just go and get the leftovers. Get whatever's there. You can get buckets of tomatoes and chilies and onion, garlic, all kinds of stuff for free.
Wow.
It helps them because they don't have to clean it up and they're not going to continue to harvest. It costs the money isn't there to get the scraps that are left over.
Right.
So they just let the public go get it. And then they also sell on the side, you know, on the roads. They have fruit stands and vegetable stands and all that stuff. So I still live in an area like that, you know, and it's a lot cheaper.
Oh, got you.
And you don't need a lot of money.
Right, right. Yeah, I look at your Facebook page, man, and it just makes me hungry, all that good food you be posting on there.
Yeah. Did you see the video? Me and Angie went to eat.
I had saw it recent one.
Yeah.
Though, but yeah.
There's a guy, real nice guy, Marty, a friend of mine. He bought a book for me and he bought a stick, and he gave us some money to go out to eat. So I told Angie, I'm gonna make a video for Marty, you know, just to thank him, you know. So we're over there. We're at the Chinese buffet. It's good food too. Right. So it's me and her eating. I start filming. Angie, don't wait. She starts eating while I'm filming. You know, she just eating, man. But it was good.
This was up.
Yeah. Gives me ideas to make stuff. You know.
Right. Yeah. Y'all be having a good time over there. I see.
Yeah, brother.
You mentioned B15. What the difference is between B15 and B12?
Well, B12 is a blood builder, right? And it's actually a vitamin. B15 is not a vitamin. It's actually comes from the core, the seed of an apricot. That's where it's most commonly found. What it does is it expands your blood vessels and allows more oxygen in the bloodstream to go through. That's what helps you breathe better.
Oh.
So it opens your veins up, which allows more blood to flow more freely, and it's distributed throughout your body and allows you to breathe better.
For the athletes, was that even?
Yeah. That's how you get oxygen throughout your body, is through the bloodstream. Right.
So that's my question. Humans use it as well?
That's where we got it from.
Oh, okay.
It started with the East Germans and the Russians using it. The horse racing community over here borrowed it from them. And the dog guys, myself and some others, borrowed it from the horse racing community.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
It's actually called Pangamic Acid.
Pangamic Acid. Okay.
Pangamic Acid.
Pangamic Acid. Okay.
Yeah. Look it up. It'll help you.
Right. Okay. Let me get into some breeding talk. I know it's many ways people say they breed dogs, this and that, and I know you know about inbreeding and things like that, but you always cautious, say, hey, watch this stuff, you know, because I notice about people, young people, and I'm not just young and dogs, because it's people enter dogs in all ages now. They ain't just necessarily 20. It could be 30. It could be people in 40s where they be learning training, and they watch this channel to get tips and different things like that. But you always warn against too much tight inbreeding and different things. And I think you said that it was better. Tell me if I'm wrong. I think you said it's better to add in a unrelated dog that had the same traits as the line you're running for better product or specimen.
Right.
Or this is good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's more, if you want to retain the traits you have and you're going to outside blood, it's better to get an individual or breed to an individual that has the same traits as your dogs have.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to increase the odds that you're going to capture those traits. You're going to retain them,
Mm-hmm.
which is different from if you're lacking something and you see it in an individual that somebody else has, then you're breeding to that outside dog or obtaining the outside dog because you want to enhance what you don't have. So there's two ways of outcrossing, in my opinion, just to simplify it.
Mm-hmm.
Get something that you already have that has the traits you already have, or if you're lacking something, then you go outside to get what you're lacking. But
Right.
if you're lacking something, if you've been breeding dogs for any number of years and you start lacking things, you're doing something wrong.
Mm.
All the outside blood should do is enhance what you already have. That's what it should do. Improve it. That's why they call it a battle cross. You make an outcross to produce athletes.
Mm-hmm.
Those athletes should have the traits that you already have. But if you start losing stuff, let's say you make a breeding, this is what people will do. They'll make a breeding and it didn't quite work out.
Mm-hmm.
And you lost something in it. They'll take those dogs and try to recapture it in the next breeding, which that can happen. For me, I'd stop right there and go back one generation and try something else, go a different way.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't take that stuff that didn't work or it didn't produce what you wanted it to and try and improve on that. That's a downward spiral. Most people would disagree with me. And that's the problem with purity. If you talk to somebody that don't know a lot and you talk about purity, it sounds good. Oh yeah, I'm a pure blood and he's pure this and pure that. And I'm gonna keep the blood pure and I don't want no outside shit. And it's straight, less than that. That's for a novice to think that way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you want to retain purity, that's the hardest thing to retain. Mm-hmm. So you have to expect that the percentages are going to go down, but you're going to have one or two individuals that's pure that have everything you need. That's the best you can hope for.
Right, right.
Not a whole litter, maybe one in the litter, maybe two in the litter. But once you've done that and you captured what you want with the inbred dog, then you don't have to go no further. You got it. And if that dog can produce, you can breed him 100 different ways, and he's always going to throw something for you, or she's always going to throw something for you.
Right, right.
That's how it should be done, in my opinion, anyways.
Yeah.
Right. It just
in modern times, it's a lot different. Like that's what I was referring to when I said breeders are breeding a different way now. The pure is because of the designer breed time that we're in. They kind of tell pure breeders. I was talking about this yesterday with Mr. Morales. They tell the pure breed dog breeders of the day, y'all doing it wrong. This is how you do it. You know what I mean? And it just scatter. It just mixing breeds. It's just and it just I don't understand a lot of it. I can see doing something and then coming back in and kind of making some staple, but it's different now. They say that the pure breed dog breeders are just making disease animals. I'm like, really? And I know y'all didn't deal with a lot of those genetic diseases and stuff, or did you?
Well, you have to know what you're doing. You have to know what you're doing first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Most people, it's not like in the past where most people, at least where I'm from, grew up with dogs.
Mm-hmm.
You have dogs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have a bunch of them, right? And you don't necessarily have to live out in the country to have 2 or 3 dogs. You had them at home in the city.
Right.
That has kind of faded away. And when you grow up that way, you have an inherent knowledge about dogs. You know what's good. You know what you like. You know how to quote unquote train them, make them behave inside, outside. Like my dad, we had cow dogs, right? He never trained them per se. He just told them what to do and they did it. And how he got them to do that, I don't know. I think he just took the ones that had a knack for it and just enhanced it with positive reinforcement. If they did something good, good boy. If they didn't, he just ignored them. That one ain't worth a shit. Don't use that.
Yeah.
And they had to be almost natural. And it's the same thing with pit dogs or any other breed. They have to be natural, meaning that they were bred for a certain reason, and that should be inherent in them to do that kind of work or sport.
Right. Yeah. So times change and there's different ideologies that come in.
So I think we cut off there. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you. So in any dog, you're going to want it to have a stable temperament, especially with children. When you was raising the American Pit Bull Terrier, what were absolute deal breakers and things you saw with dogs that you like, he's not going to be in my program?
Yeah, any sort of negative behavior towards children or aggressive behavior under any circumstance. And I think that's the problem with some people today is they put up with dogs' behavior if it's negative, or they blame the kid, or they say, well, I shouldn't have touched his food. Bullshit. I should be able to touch his food, stick my finger in his mouth, poke him in the eye, right? So when it comes to temperament and behavior, that's part of the makeup of the dog as well. Each breed of dog, or just dogs in general, were bred for a purpose. They have a function. Part of that function is the interaction with human beings. So if it's a family dog or the dogs I had on my yard, I should be able to handle them. My kids should be able to handle them. My wife, my friend, my partner, a stranger, anybody that knows dogs should be able to handle those dogs.
Right. So let me, I'm going to wrap up with this question because our internet a little janky tonight, but let me ask you this. How important is imagery in dogs? If you look at the old historic pictures of dog men with American Pit Bull Terriers, they didn't have a dog there. You know what I mean? You never, I never see pictures like that, right?
Yeah.
And things like that. So I never see that stuff in old pictures.
Yeah.
It was a dignity to it. Today, do you think some of the imagery hurts breeds and put them in trouble? Because I as a breeder, I don't
definitely.
I don't.
Yeah, and we've been talking about this for years.
Right. So what's your thoughts? See a lot of biting. Like some of the shit is excessive. You really want, and the state of, there's a lot of movements trying to take animals away from us. Even agriculture trying to take every damn thing away from us. What's your thoughts on imagery? Where we heading, social media wise?
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. That because so many people are privy to the pictures, the videos, that are posted and put everywhere, all around the world. You should be cognizant of how you want to present your dog. And you're right. Back in the day, they didn't being aggressive or showing their teeth and all that. That was it was frowned upon. You don't do that. That's not what the dog is for. That's not how you want to. People are going to think that dog's going to do that to your kid. And that's what they think now. Man, they see a pit bull baring his teeth and all that. Boy, if he gets a hold of a kid, he's going to hurt him bad. That's not the way you want to prepare your dog. And even if you look at some of my pictures, look at my dog, they have a serious look to them. You can see it in their eyes, but they're not growling and fighting and baring their teeth and barking and shit like that. That's not how I want. I wanted that dignity like you're talking about. I wanted people to know that these are bulldogs. They're serious dogs. But one of them with my daughter. It's me holding the dog, and the dogs are serious and steady and controlled, and their temperament and behavior is solid and sound.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So yeah, it can be detrimental, and people, they don't think about that, and they don't care how it looks. People have the attitude that I'm going to do whatever I want, and I don't care what anybody says. And if you don't like it, tough shit, until something negative happens.
Right.
And then it's too late. And sometimes it's serious.
Right.
So that comes with maturity, but sometimes that negative shit happens to you before you're old enough to mature.
Right.
So, that's where the older heads come in, where they should advise and tell people how to display their dogs in public. Because for me, all that jumping around and growling and facing dogs up, that doesn't impress me. I've talked about it before. I mean, that don't mean shit to me. That's nothing.
Right.
Any dog can do that.
Right.
For me, if you want to see what it's about, back in the day, face them up, let them go. And then see if the dog is bullshitting or not.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can't do that no more, why are you showing your dogs being aggressive towards other dogs? It doesn't matter. And even back in the day, it didn't matter. That dog still quit if he does that. Hollering and screaming. He could still be junk.
With Kurt, yeah.
So what's the point? It's just to impress somebody, or look at my dog. And I've seen experienced dog guys, competitors, do shit like that. And I rake them over the coals. Why are you doing that? Don't do that. That's stupid.
Right.
You should know better. You're 40 something years old already. You doing that kind of shit. You're 50 years old. You're 60 years old doing that shit.
Yeah.
What for? Doesn't mean anything. You know it doesn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, the imagery, how you present the dog matters.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody's always watching. So for me, wherever I'm at, whether it's on a video, your show, someone else's podcast, out in public, I talk the way I talk, with expecting the whole world is listening, and somebody's got a camera on me somewhere.
And they do, yeah.
So I don't trip.
Yeah, because like you having all these dog attacks and different things like that in the news. Then like you put on Instagram, it's shit getting bit everywhere. Goddamn, I seen a chunk out the Instagram symbol. I said, damn, the dog bit that too. I mean, it's crazy, and I think it's gonna catch up with us one day. It's gonna catch up with us. But I was always
it's starting to already.
Yeah, don't show too much. Don't show too much. A lot of breeders hurt themselves with that. Mm-hmm.
And then if you're a breeder, if you're a breeder that sells dogs, I don't think that's the way to sell a dog. People are going to look at that and say, well, I don't want a dog that behaves that way.
Right.
I want a nice dog. I want something I can control, something that's good with the kids, a family dog, and still be a protector.
Yeah, that's right. A stable protector. Yeah, you want anytime something go wrong, people are going to target you. It's going to leave a trail. Look at what he brought, dogs jumping through flames, biting shit. But you know what, Schoolboy? A lot of that is short man complex, weak men complex. Because think about this. Now, we got open carry here, I believe. But, if you step in a room nowadays, whether it be a restaurant, man, it's probably going to be a few pistols in everywhere you go now, right? Some people going to have them where you don't see them. But that guy that's carrying, if a guy come in carrying a gun on his side and I see it, I'm honing in on him. You know what I mean? So even though he has that gun on his side, he don't know that he made himself the biggest target in the room, because you walk in the building with this big gun on your side. You know what I mean? So yeah, so when you do stuff like that, everybody focus on you. And and they're not focused on you to watch what you're doing.
That's a great analogy, Joe. That's a great analogy, because that's exactly what it does. You're focused on this guy with a pistol. Now you got a dog that's acting up, everybody focusing on you.
Mm-hmm.
And they're waiting for you to slip up so they can call the cops, or they can report you or something, film it. They're going to film it. They're going to film you, doing whatever.
They're going to do something.
It just, it's ridiculous.
Even hurting you. They say, oh, I wish he would do something with that dog and different things. Because, Yeah. People target you like, I'm gonna bust your ass. You do something crazy with that dog. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have to be cognizant. So I would give that advice. When you're out in public or you're online filming videos, putting videos up, just expect that everybody is watching. The cops are watching you. The general public's watching you. Everybody's hearing you. So however you talk, they're going to pay attention to it. So if there's something that you shouldn't say or can't say, don't be online. Don't do that. Don't be out in public.
Everybody watching. And you mentioned cops. A lot of them. A lot of them little baby popos. A lot of them look.
They are. Yeah.
I ain't got no problem with no police. But the ones who do it for free, that's the one I got a problem with. So,
it seems like that's all they do. That's all they do all day long. You know, they ain't got no job. You know, and then you have males that are not acting like men. You know, and it just spiral downward spiral.
It does, yeah. Man, Schoolboy, I appreciated talking to you again. I wanted to keep around about an hour, and I know I had needed to get you back on because people have been asking me where he at. Where I said, I'm coming around. I'm coming around.
Anytime, Joe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So
I see you busy. I see you doing a lot of great videos with a lot of great people, a lot of experienced people.
Oh man, it's been awesome. And so you know, Doug, he been bringing a lot of interviews, different things. And man, I just tell you, man, it's a difference when you really love it and you really want to seek the knowledge. And you know, there's some pressure involved because a lot of people contact me. Could you talk about this? Can you what about this? What about that? This would be a great topic. And people just, you know, they love it. Some people don't. Them trainers crazy as hell. Them doggone dog trainers, boy, they crazy, man. Hey, man, they can't agree on how a dog can. They got 50 ways to make a dog sit, and it's all wrong.
Everybody else's way is wrong. My way is right.
My way is right. Yeah, man. It's nuts with them, but but it's been a heck of a ride, man. And anyway, back to you. Schoolboy has a very, very good podcast. Goes a lot deeper in different things in his breed. A lot of times here you're gonna just see a lot of surface level interviews, but if you go into these guys' platforms, you see them go a lot deeper. You know what I mean? So yeah, make sure to follow Schoolboy. What's your channel name?
Yeah.
School.
Right. Yeah, you're right. There's a lot to cover. Everybody's right and everybody else is wrong. The way I look at it is, you know, if it works for me, then I'm going to give you what worked, how it worked, how I did it, what I did, all that. If it helps you, great. If it don't, that's okay. Not everybody's way is the right way, but if it works for you, it's the right way for you. That's right. Anybody who's had dogs for any length of time knows that they're all different, you know, and there's 100 different ways to get to the same point. Mm-hmm. So what matters is your record. What did you do? What can you prove you did? Show me something. Then I'll take some veracity in what you say, rather than just talking. You know, how long have you worked dogs? How long have you trained dogs? Do people buy your dog? Do you have, you know, testimony from others that got dogs from you? That's the way I look at it. It's the same thing with pit bulls. Who's matching? Who's breeding the best ones? Who's got them? Who bought them? Like that.
Right. Okay, man. Hey, we appreciate you. Until the next time, my man.
Yep, let's do it again soon, Joe. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Step into the realm of canine wisdom with our podcast, NWA Cane Corsos, where we interview dog men and women from around the globe. Discover their talents and insights on breeding, training, nutrition, and the rich history of dogs. Tune in to the most underrated yet influential dog podcast on social media. Your journey into the dog world starts here.